Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear students, grade 8, we are going to study together the third unit for the first term. The title of our unit today is about how we live. How we live. Let's start by this opener. Who can solve this puzzle? How many holes does this t-shirt have? How many holes does this t-shirt have? Who can? 5? No. Who can? Yes, good, excellent. 8 holes. 8 holes. Yes, let's start our lesson today. Open your student's book, page 27. Before reading, discuss in pairs. Do you enjoy reading stories? Do you enjoy reading stories? Why? Number 2, name a story you know. What is it about? What is it about? I'll give you time. Who can answer? Do you enjoy reading stories? Yes, I do. I spend my free time nicely. Who can name a story you know? What is it about? I like police stories. It's about crime and justice. Let's know the new vocab in this lesson today. A businessman is very rich. He has a very big department store, Metro department store. The department store has 5 separate stores. The department store has 5 separate. The new word today is separate. What's the meaning of separate? Feelings and behaviors are two separating things. Feeling and behaviors are two separate things. Feeling, behavior. Separate. Repeat, separate. Good. Separate, existing or happening independently or in a different physical space. Another word, employ. Repeat, employ. He employed a new assistant to sell in one of the stores. He employed a new assistant to sell in one of the stores. The new word today is employ. Employ. Employ mean to have someone work or to do a job for you and pay them for it. Employ. The assistant was so happy. The assistant was so happy to have a very good wage. The assistant was so happy to have a very good wage. The new word, wage. What's the meaning of wage? Wage. Repeat, wage. An amount of money that is paid to an employee. An amount of money that is paid to an employee. After a while, the new shop assistant lost interest in his work. He would spend the days chatting on his mobile instead of working. Instead of drink lemon water instead of pills if you have one of these 13 problems. Instead of, it means in place of someone or something. After a while, the businessman found out what the assistant was doing. He set a trap. The new word is a trap. Repeat, a trap. Yes, good, a trap. Trap, it is a device or a hole for catching animals or people and preventing their escape. The businessman came to the store and found the assistant busy with his mobile and he neglected the customers. All of a sudden, When the assistant saw his boss, he dropped out. He dropped out. The new word is dropped out of the chair. Dropped out. Dropped out. Dropped out. Drop out. Drop out. To fall out of something. To fall out of something. And that is how the assistant lost his job at the store and has been jobless. The new word, jobless. 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 Repeat, jobless. Good, jobless. Unemployed, without a job. Unemployed, without a job. Jobless. Let's study again new vocab. Let's study new vocab. Who can? Yes, separate. Separate. It is adjective. Number 2, employ. Employ. It is a verb. Number 3, wage. Wage. Number 4, instead of. Instead of. Instead of. It is adverb. What's this? Trap. Trap. It is a noun. Drop out. Drop out. Phrasal verb. Phrasal verb means a verb plus preposition. A verb plus preposition. It is called phrasal verb. Jobless. Jobless. Adjective. Jobless. Jobless. Separate. Employ. Wage. Instead of. Trap. Drop out. Jobless. Now open your student's book, page 27. How we live. How we live. Read this story and give it a title. Read this story and give it a title. I'll give you a time to read this story and give it a title. 2 minutes. Read your answers. Who can? Give the story a title. Who can? Sing or work. Sing or work. Good, excellent. I can. Who can? Another title. Be honest. Be honest. Be honest in your work. Students book, page 28. Answer this question about the story. What was Don like? What was Don like? How did he work at first? Number 2, where did Don spend his time after he had lost interest in his job? Number 3, how did Antonio solve the problem? How did Antonio solve the problem? Number 4, what message do you think the writer of the story is trying to share? Time? I'll give you 2 minutes. Check your answers. Now, a mistake is only a mistake if you don't learn from it. We should learn from our mistakes. We should learn from our mistakes. Yes. Number 1, what was Don like? What kind of person is he? How did he work at first? At first, Don worked hard and he was quick with his hands. He fixed the car faster and better than anyone else. Don was the rising star among the mechanics in the workshop. Question number 2. Where did Don spend his time after he had lost interest in his job? Where? Who can? Yes, good, excellent. He spent his time singing to himself instead of working. Number 3, how did Antonio solve the problem? How did Antonio solve the problem? He set a trap, he climbed up the tree and waited for Dawn to arrive. When Antonio saw Dawn singing, he fired him. What message did you think the writer of the story is trying to share? What did you learn from this story? Time for reading now. I'll give you time. My dad runs a garage just outside the city. It is the biggest garage in town. It's a family business and my dad is really proud of what he has achieved. All the rich people bring their expensive car to him to be served and repaired. Last year, a mechanic named Don came to work for my dad, but he didn't stay long. That garage is huge. It has 3 separated workshops and employs 40 mechanics and over hundreds other staff. It is hard to keep track of all the workers, so Dad employs a foreman named Antonio. He is a short, heavy man and he moves slowly, but he has a lot of power. His job is to check what the mechanics are doing and to tell them what they are supposed to do. He also pays the men's wages. At first, Don worked hard. He was young, tall, slim, and quick with his hands. He fixed the car faster and better than anyone. He was a rising star among the mechanics in the workshop. After a while, Don lost interest in his work. That was the beginning of his real trouble. He found a quiet place outside the garage where no one could see or hear him. He would sit under a tree and spend the day singing to himself instead of working. You like to think I am working, but I am not, he sang. After a while, Antonio found out what Don was doing. He set a trap. One morning, before Don arrived at work, he climbed up the tree and waited for Don to arrive. An hour later, Don, as usual, came to sit under the tree. You like to think, I am working, but I am not. He started singing. All of a sudden, Antonio dropped out of the tree and looked him in the eye. He sang to the same tune. He sang to the same tune Don had used. You like to think, I am going to obey you, but I am not. And that is how Don lost his job at my dad's garage. Since then, he has been jobless. After reading strategy, what did you learn from this story? What is the moral of the story? Yes, good, excellent. You should work hard to earn money. If you lose interest in your work, you won't achieve anything. Yes, let's start to fill in this table with the required information from the story. I want to know the character, the main character in this story, the setting in this story, the events in this story. The main character in this story. I'll give you time. Check your answer. Character number 1, Don. Antonio, the writer's dad. يبقى character Don, Antonio, the writer's dad. Setting workers. يبقى Don, Antonio, the writer's dad, workers. Setting garage, quiet place outside the garage. Setting events. Don started working as a mechanic. Later, he lost interest in his work. What else? He spent his time singing. He lost his job. Closure. At the end of our lesson today, I want to design a poster about how would you like your life? Design your own life. At the end of our lesson today, goodbye.